Welcome to Ethiopia Today. We will cover the following topics in our today's presentation. Ethiopia's innovators are trying to find purpose in a time of war. A lion-shaped plant, said to be the world's first living art installation in Ethiopia. The details are as follow and invite you to tune until the end. Ethiopia's innovators are trying to find purpose in a time of war. Early 2020 was a hopeful time for Ethiopia's startups. Venture capitalists were increasingly eyeing Ethiopian startups, and the country improved its rank on the World Bank's 2019 Ease of Doing Business report. Just before the start of the war, over a year back, Ethiopia was seeing a fast-growing pool of companies launching various digital services that dared to change the traditional ways of doing business. The bloody divisive war engineered by the terrorist TPLF and its sponsors has undoubtedly impacted negatively, and shifting winds have brought a completely different scene in the Ethiopian public discourse. People are making statements about where they stand in the war with simple hashtags, while no public opinion goes unnoticed, says Quartz Media. Even Ethiopia's business moguls, entrepreneurs, and innovators who in modern history have mostly kept quiet about politics, are now part of the public discourse. According to Quartz Media, the tech community finds itself taking sides too in a war that has deeply polarized Ethiopians locally and abroad. To highlight a few examples, one tech founder has become a prominent pro-government voice on social media, another has found a way to provide humanitarian assistance while offering innovative solutions, while another finds herself a pariah of the state for a leaked video that allegedly reveals a conspiracy to bring down the current Abiy regime. Lasting a little over a year, Ethiopia's ongoing civil war with rebels from the northern region has killed tens of thousands of people, displaced 4 million, and left hundreds of thousands facing famine-like conditions. Amhara Regional State, one of the regions hardly hit by the war, said it would take 40 years to rebuild the region back to pre-war status. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed too has been at the war front. His pleas for battle have been accepted by noteworthy figures such as Olympic gold medals. Ethiopia's innovators too are taking a role and getting involved in the ways they can. Mass mobilizations and campaigns supporting the federal government reached fever pitch in the past weeks after rebels from the northern region made advancements seizing new towns and disseminating propaganda of pushing towards the capital. However, this is no longer the case and they are retreating and things going against them right now. Quartz Media's point is how the war has forced people to pick sides. Solomon Kassa, a TV personality, tech consultant, and an important figure in Ethiopia's innovation ecosystem, is one such player actively engaging campaigns revolving around the war. Solomon, who recently founded 1888 EK, an innovative startup studio that aspires to create disruptive innovators and change makers in Ethiopia, has been a prominent advocate of pro-Ethiopian voices on social media where both conflicting parties try to control the narrative. Solomon nowadays uses his social media account with thousands of followers to raise awareness about pro-government campaigns and provides his analysis on the latest hot issue regarding the conflict. Another tech firm that is lending its hand to the cause during wartime is Chopar Financial Technologies, helping out in humanitarian causes. The fintech firm developed Izon, a fundraising platform that allows Ethiopians worldwide to contribute to national causes. In its first campaign to support conflict victims in Ethiopia, Izon was able to raise 153 million birr, $3.1 million, since its launch a month ago. Through a partnership with a local bank, which agreed to cover the whole cost of international money transfer, 100% of donations go to the causes that supporters choose to give. Izon is Chopar's contribution to Ethiopia, and supporting conflict victims is one of the major priorities highlighted by the government, said Nile Haile-Mariam, general manager of Chopar. Nile developed the platform for free. We will be adding other fundraising causes on the platform soon, Nile told Quartz. Established last year, Chopar is close to receiving permits from the National Bank of Ethiopia to launch its online payment systems and become one of the first firms to provide financial services outside of banks in Ethiopia. But not everyone's involvement in politics has been welcomed. This is the case of Eleni Geber-Medhen, who serves as Chief Innovation Officer at UNDP's Regional Bureau for Africa. A very notable figure in Ethiopia, Eleni was the founder and first CEO of Ethiopia Commodity Exchange. She is also the founder of Blue Moon, one of the first incubation facilities in Ethiopia. Eleni made headlines first after her house in the capital was searched in what she called was ethnic profiling and harassment. But things took a turn a few days later when video of Eleni participating in a virtual meeting with Western diplomats and a TPLF representative was leaked. In the meeting where the issue of the stepping down of Abiy was discussed, Eleni raised the questions of transitional arrangement and Marshall Plan in post-war Ethiopia to the TPLF diplomat. Many government supporters regarded this as a conspiracy to bring down the current Abiy regime. Eleni is now regarded as a pariah by the same people that once saw her as a hero. Though Eleni said that her appearance in the meeting was widely misrepresented and that she does not endorse any transitional government, the damage was already done. There is no ifs and buts. Eleni crossed a red line and there is no coming back from it, wrote Solomon on his Twitter page. Since the leaking of the video, Eleni had her honorary doctorate from an Ethiopian university revoked. She was sacked from her position as independent economic advisor to the Prime Minister, while her close associates and former business partners have distanced themselves from her, denouncing her actions. Her startup incubator, Blue Moon, has since been closed and is under investigation by the government. Ethiopia's tech sector, past, present, and future. Roll back just a few years, Ethiopia's economic outlook told a completely different story. When Abiy came to power in 2018, he fast-tracked many reforms that addressed numerous constraints stagnating Ethiopia's digital economy. Policy changes tackling poor network connectivity, high telecom costs, restrictive regulations, and limited funding, coupled with greater digital literacy brought in by the advancement of time, unlocked many uncharted territories for Ethiopia and its innovators. Abiy, who himself hails from an IT background and was once the then State Minister of Science and Technology, gave a particular focus for technology and innovation which further boosted the sector. The Ethiopian digital economy was said to be in liftoff. Ecosystem players described the policy environment as the best it has ever been, while the talk of which company would be the first Ethiopian unicorn was already underway among startups and entrepreneurs. But now, the war diverted the country's attention and resource, and innovation seems to be affected without doubt. There is a growing plea for people to join the cause and help in the ways they can. But not all has been self-destructing since the beginning of the war. Safaricom Ethiopia, which won the bid to enter Ethiopia's telecom market at a price of $850 million, is gearing for commercial launch despite some delays inflicted by the conflict. Since its launch in May 2021, Telebirr, the nation's first mobile money by a non-financial institution, has garnered around 11 million subscribers while transacting over 2 billion birr, $41.6 million. Ethiopia's first startup act that aims to provide customized support for startups and incentivize entrepreneurship is set to be passed into law after spending over a year in the making, and according to Shega, an Addis Ababa-based digital media and research company, Ethiopian fintech companies alone have raised more than $8.8 million in 2021 in the midst of the conflict. Despite the uncertainties caused by the war and its massive hit on the economy, innovators remain cautiously optimistic that a post-war Ethiopia can still hold on to some of the gains that were made in the tech sector. Perhaps, their allegiance to the government or TPLF can be seen as a belief in what Ethiopia can be. A lion-shaped plant, said to be the world's first living art installation in Ethiopia. A lion-shaped plant in Ethiopia may be able to warn us of climate change dangers. Ethiopian researchers and artists are working to restore biodiversity in the town of Kofele. They are building a tree nursery representing an Ethiopian lion, according to News 18 India. Ethiopian researchers and artists are working to restore biodiversity in the town of Kofele. They are building a tree nursery representing an Ethiopian lion, visible from space. The goal? To alert public authorities to the climate crisis while promoting the local agricultural sector. This ambitious project, entitled Trees for Life, is being headed up by Ethiopian charity Rural Organization for Betterment of Agro-Pastoralists ROBA. It is supported by the Earth Art Studio, the British Council, the Canadian Kwantlen University and Scottish planners from the city of Dundee. They are all working to create a 50-meter lion-shaped nursery, which ROBA describes as the world's first living art installation. Located near a school in Kofele, the nursery will help preserve the wildlife, flora and culture of the Oromia region, the most populous in Ethiopia. Local people, in particular women and younger generations, will also be able to learn much-needed skills in tree farming and agroforestry. When I speak with elders, they describe us as victims of climate change who have lost our culture. When you ask them about trees, and how Oromos maintained them, the key players they indicate are culture and art. Hussein Water, director and founder of ROBA, told Hyperallergic. When a practice is ingrained into a people's culture in art and song, or even in technology and photography, they do it better. My goal right now is to mobilize the people around this, he added. This desire to include an artistic component in this project translates into the lion shape chosen for the nursery. This animal is anything but significant for Ethiopians, as it is one of the country's national symbols. The Abyssinian lion is a keystone species, whose predominant role determines the plant and animal species found in their habitat. Its presence in the Ethiopian highlands determines the composition of the rest of the region's ecosystem. While it once reigned supreme on the African continent, researchers now estimate that the Abyssinian lion could disappear by 2050 due to massive deforestation of the savanna and poaching. While the Trees of Life project can't rebuild their natural habitat, the hope is that it can raise awareness about the important role trees play in our ecosystem. If we can truly educate our people about the art of tree planting, to prevent soil erosion, limit pollution, create jobs, and regulate the water cycle. I believe no one would cut down a single tree again, Hussein Water told Hyperallergic. As we learned from News 18 India, the nursery produced more than 8,000 trees by May despite frequent poor weather conditions that have hit Ethiopia in recent months. The structure should be able to maintain a production of 10,000 to 12,000 trees per 6-month growing cycle. Thanks so much our viewers. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Let's play with the algorithm so that the messages reach out to many viewers as much as possible. And by doing so, you are helping the channel continue to produce these and similar news. Many thanks.